I'm laughing because we're going to be talking about a really out there topic today, so I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to be talking about murder, serial killing, rape, and other topics like this. And I'm coming at it from the angle of, again, this is going to be really weird. I'm coming at it from the angle of if you are a person who is thinking thoughts of raping and murdering others, what's kind of going on, and more of an attempt to like persuade you not to, but also for other people that don't understand all that. I got some stories to tell you. I'm a good person, so hold up. I know I'm a good person, and I know it so much that I have no problem admitting anything on my YouTube channel. But I am going to be talking about dark topics. I'm going to be kind of tapping in from different angles on it. The reason why I'm inspired to do so is, last night, I don't watch this shit, really anymore. My mom's a narcissist. My mom watches nonstop murder shows. And it's really interesting because, my best friend's mom is also a narcissist, and, she watches nothing but murder shows. And I'm not judging you if you watch murder shows, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, the truth is the real truth is the reason why they watch murder shows isn't because they're like, you go, Cindy, for getting your husband, who tried to kill you. They're really actually looking at it from the perspective of the killer and admiring the audacity and the, against what everyone else is doing, following their own passion and doing what they want to do. Again, this is going to be a dark topic. If you're not ready for it, click off, watch the whole video before you judge me. I am going to be telling you a slight story on my experience with dark energy that was really intense. Really intense. And ever since that experience, I now realize how it must be for people that are killers and stuff because, anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, yeah, so I was watching some murder shit last night, and, one of them was about, kind of an autistic kid who's like 19, and, keep it short. He killed one person. He didn't do a good job at hiding it or anything. He ended up going down the street. He saw a homeless guy. He opened up the fucking tarp and he like stabbed him in the neck. And then decapitated his head. He took his head in his hands and brought it back to his house where he lived with his mom and dad. So he hid a head in the closet, and his mom found the head in the closet. Anyway, and he like cut the dude's stomach open and like his arms, and he like threw the arms away. And when he got caught, long story short, he's sitting there. It's so funny. He's sitting there describing. I know to you it ain't funny, but I've seen a lot of dark shit in my life, But anyway, it's so funny because he's sitting there describing to the cop. He's like, "Can I do a demonstration?" And the cop's like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Yeah." So I was on top of him like this. I was like, "Oh, look at him. He's got so much passion." That's good. I got a morbid sense of humor too. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think about killing people like that. I'm not sitting there talking like that. I never grew up. I'm going to say this right here. And it's funny because it's like, how do you reach out to people? Either A, you're one of these people, and therefore nobody's going to, you know what I mean? Like either I did rape and kill people, and then I try to make a video like this, and people are like, well, fuck that guy's opinion. Fair. But you should listen to the habits you want to be where you are. And I come from an angle of, I have a story, which I will tell you in a minute. It doesn't involve me raping or killing anybody. But it does involve me being in that energy to the highest level. So I know that feeling. It is really intense. But anyway, and so like I said, either you listen to somebody that's done it or not done it. And out of everybody that doesn't do it, they judge you. It's just like watching people that do heroin. You know how many people that do heroin and everybody else looks at them and they're like, fuck those people. And it really just comes from the fact that you just don't have any experience in this. And honestly, ever since I had my Kundalini awakening, I ain't gonna lie to you, and I touched base with my higher self, it's like, dude, I've lived so many fucking lives. All of you have lived so many lives. You have raped and murdered people in past lives. You need to get over it. It happens all the time here. So it's really a topic that people should understand. I have something in my eye, by the way, for the last few days by me. But anyway, it's a big fucking topic you should understand. You have raped and murdered people. You've lived your infinite lifespan of being in different shapes and forms in different places of creation, not just limited to here on Earth. I know some of you are still stuck in the Matrix. This is a hard topic to swallow. But you've lived so many lifetimes and experienced, anything that you do repetitiously is hell. If you were to imagine living in the clouds in a palace for like heaven, like the way they imagine heaven, and you're just listening to great music, it would get so boring so quick. Hell, I can't even imagine sitting and looking at some boring ass white clouds all day. That sounds horrible. Like real quick. Anyway, so the point is, you do experience these things, and the truth is, there's so much evidence of why it's important to experience these things. You got people that are surgeons in this lifetime. Like, there's people out here that save your ass because you get shot, and there's a certain level. Not all of them. Some of them truth is, some of them force themselves through it. Some of them have a feeling of digging in there. They like digging in there. You got a bullet wound and they're screaming. I'm not saying they're sitting here getting off on you screaming, but there's a certain amount of them getting... There is people that get excited playing with your guts, stitching you up. Some of them are fascinated. It's fascinating. Look how your body heals. It's interesting. So there's a lot of different ways to come at this angle that I'm trying to get to. And the kid who I'm describing had a huge fascination of morbid stuff. He knew all this different rules, like, how long it takes for the body to stink. He called it the rule of 3. How many days before it goes into a certain decomposition? After 3 years, you got nothing but bones. He just knew about a bunch of stuff. He thought about it a lot. And that's because whatever thoughts you think of gain momentum. And Earl Nightingale, he came out with an LP record back in like the 50s or 40s. And it was entitled The Strangest Secret, which is the strangest secret on the planet. And that secret is, whatever you think about most of the time, you become. Now, in my training from the billionaire that I got, he re-edited it saying, you become or you get what you think about most of the time. You become what you think about most of the time. So, when you're thinking about something, like a dark thought, you're going to become that person. If you think dark thoughts, you will become that person. And so this video is a little bit for those who have already kind of went down, quote unquote, that dark path. People that think about being a surgeon, they're sitting there picturing dealing with body parts too. Personally, I'm not into all that. I really ain't. I'm not really personally, I don't have the stomach. I have the ability to kill somebody. But I don't have the ability to sit there and work on a body, And on that topic, if you still want to judge me, there's so many people that become cops, go into the military, and they do it because they want to kill people. And it's so hard for you to swallow. Some people do it. Some people do it because they want to be a good person. Some people do it because they want to kill people. They want total domination and control over somebody. And that feeling of power and authority is what just, cranks them, turns their crank. Makes them nut in their pants. Hopefully this made a 2-part video. And again, I appreciate if you've been watching this. But I don't really, it's so fucked up because I used to be that guy that judged people. But I have a story of me next to a malignant narcissist sitting right there in a seat, threatening to stab the shit out of me with a foot-long knife. No form of empathy at all. And I realized that that guy is me. Not in this life. I was always a nice guy. I was so nice of a person, I let people walk on me all day long. And I didn't know it, but I was going to what they call Saturn. This is getting a little astrological. I apologize if you're not in astrology, but for those that are, they understand. I was making my way to Saturn's gate, for those that are into rituals and magic, whatever. I was making my way to Saturn's gate. In my life, my astrology chart, my Saturn is in Aries in the 9th house of Sag. On the right of me was an Aries Sun, Sag Moon, Aries Rising, taking me on a journey from Missouri to New Mexico to make it to Saturn's gate in the mountains. So I basically went to a geographical location, because I'm also a grid worker, to where I would have an experience to where I made it to Saturn's gate. It's not something that's easily understood by a lot of people, but basically I went to the underworld. I had an actual experience of going to the underworld. Got to go to a place of demonic dark energy and transmute it into positive. But there's a certain amount of me gripping the negative energy. There's a certain amount of me being able to stand there and withhold it. Anyway, in that experience, I realized that this person is my shadow self. And ever since that day, that dark side is here. It's been integrated with me. And I had to deal with it. And it wasn't easy. Like, that guy next to me wasn't easy. It was very, it's kind of like my own karma. In a way, some people might say it wasn't karma. Some people could say it was a spiritual attack in order to stop you from, all that's kind of true. But really, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, which was and I'm thankful for it. You should be appreciative of your dark side. After that day, I can tell you for a fact that a lot of the people that used to bully me, they can't bully me like that. I would kill you. And I'm not even in a sadistic way. I would just stand up for myself, use that energy. And it's so funny because those people know that now. Like, I know they know that. Again, I got something in my eye. I apologize. Those people know that now. And I risked my life in this story on the mountain for that person. So it's just really interesting, because it's like, how could you understand narcissism and psychopath? And by the way, I fucking hated my mom for like 2 years after all the evil shit she did to me. And now I'm kind of healed about it. And do I want her in my life? Fuck no. And, if you know somebody who's a rapist, like if your kid murders people, like this kid in the video, the mom did the right thing and called it in. And was like, yeah, like there's a human head in my sink. Because she found the head. I'm just trying to make this video to stop you from increasing the momentum of these thoughts that you have already put into. You fucked around and you masturbated to some kid porn on the internet. And you did it again. And you did it again. You did it again. And you did it again. And you did it again. And you did it again. It's not that you're unsavable, but you put in momentum. Nobody else is going to talk about this. Nobody else is going to talk about this. But you put in momentum in thinking those thoughts. So your inertia is going to create it. So when you're walking down the street and you're like, if God didn't want me to rape and murder this kid, why is there this little 13-year-old girl with like short shorts on walking down the street? Because you created it. And I mean that. That's really important to know. Why did I get punched in the face on Valentine's Day? Because I was thinking dark thoughts of fighting people, even though in my mind it's justified, because in my imagination it's like I'm walking down the street minding my own business, some guy calls me a bitch, I stand up for myself. Doesn't matter. I'm still picturing fighting people, so then I get punched in the face by a guy 6 times my size on Valentine's Day at the gym. And I take ownership of it. I because it's the truth. So, that's the thing. And it was kind of fucked up to think that that's the power that we all have, but it's the truth, and it's a good thing, because if you know this, then you could change. Now, there is people that have done deeds and done acts, and the ability to claim that is almost impossible, and that's when we consider those people as in they lost their soul. Like my mom, she's never going to change. Like, I just don't believe it. If she did, that's great. I don't want her in my life. if she watched this video, I don't think she's killed people. She might have. She might have. She might have caused people to kill themselves. That wouldn't surprise me at all. If my mom's caused people to go and kill themselves, oh yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Same with my dad. Had they directly killed somebody? I don't know. Kind of going off topic. This might be a 2-part video. This is a big topic. I'm kind of spacing. Okay. Oh yeah, back to the really fucked up things I was saying. So if you're walking down the street and you think about fucking kids, and you're wondering why it is that there's all these opportunities that are presented, because they will. That's the fucked up part about it. You have a belief. It doesn't matter. I will admit a positive thought is stronger than a negative. But the truth is, if somebody believes it, this is why psychopathy and narcissism is such a big topic. And I really need it's happening all around you. Like, these parents didn't even know that their kid was building momentum in these thoughts, and then all of a sudden they find a human head in their fucking closet, and the kid was so excited. This is probably the happiest he ever been because he was depressed. And this is a low vibrational energy. Out of all the energies that you can tap into on a low vibe, bloodlust is fucking intense. And I've had an experience with bloodlust, which I will talk about either in this video or the next video. We'll get to it. It's a deep topic. Again, I didn't try killing anybody or anything, but I got to experience it, and I'm not upset that I experienced it. Some people in war kill people and they're just puking because they get traumatized. Other people in war, which is funny because we celebrate them, were in a state of bloodlust. You watch movies and you fucking love it. I was watching the Viking or the Northman, I think this was. There's a scene where there's some guy around the corner. He wasn't ready. The guy put the knife to his throat against the fucking wall, and he just kind of sliced his throat and the wall and kept walking. Bloodlust. Just ready. Next guy, stab. Fuck you. Ready. Next guy. He was just in that flow. I know what it's like to be in that energy. It's fucking intense. It was really scary. Later on, I looked back and I was like, what the fuck was that? I guess I'll tell that now. But I did want to mention, if you are somebody who's thinking dark thoughts, like raping kids and all that other fucked up shit, a lot of people aren't going to sympathize with you. But like I said, I have an experience where I was able to fully love a person who was trying to murder me and had no empathy. Now that I'm back here in my ego self, if I meet a narcissist walking in Walmart, I'm like, yeah, fuck. There's a cop that I saw at this Walmart, and I was just waiting to fucking make a video on him, but I couldn't find him the second time I walked back in. But yeah, fuck that guy. He's a shitty dude. I don't care that he's a cop. I don't care, he's a shitty dude. He deserves the karma for being, hurting other people. And in the world where you can do whatever the fuck you want, I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know what? I like hurting people that hurt people. So that's my problem. That's my problem. I like hurting people that like hurting people. It's something I got to get over. In my mind, it's justified pleasure and do it. That's fucked up. Realistically, Anyway. But I will tell you my bloodlust story. Again, if you're one of those people, I keep saying it. If you're one of those people that keep manifesting kids and you're thinking about it, it's because you're thinking about them. I just wanted to say that. It's because you're thinking about them. Because whatever you think about, you're going to manifest. So don't put some weird ass illusion on yourself well, God or something wants me to rape kids because they're walking down the street more and more and they're looking better and better or whatever the fuck. Because that's because you're manifesting that. So the whole point of this topic is you should go watch Abraham Hicks videos. You should go watch videos where they get you to focus on other things because that inertia is strong. And so when you think about something you've already practiced, it's strong. So when you're thinking dark thoughts, for me, I don't have those issues. My issue was thinking about stabbing somebody because I had an experience of the intense with my dark side self trying to stab me. And ever since that day, I've had to work it out. And so when I get into an arrangement or an argument with some guy who's 6 times my size, and I'm over here well, I'm not your bitch. My thoughts are, I'll stab you to death. I have to work it out. And I have worked it out. I've been living a great life. I've been manifesting amazing people because I'm not toxic like that. I'm a caring, loving person. So I know I am. I've risked my life in a snowstorm to save somebody. I know I'm not a piece of shit, So for me, talking about these topics, you can comment all you want. I'm just trying to reach out to people because I love people. And the truth is, you've lived so many lifetimes. You've lived lifetimes where you've killed people. I would never do that. You've lived lifetimes where you kill people. You're watching this video, you might be 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 60 years old. Imagine hundreds of thousands of years. Like, you have no idea how old you are. So don't get it twisted. You wanted to experience you were all one once. You wanted to know what it was like to make love with somebody, to fight somebody, to kill somebody, to rape somebody. These are things that you've done. I know you might not, and I'm not sitting here telling you got to be all fucked up about it. I'm just saying these are things you've done in past lives. I guarantee it. And a lot of people that done those things in past lives, later on in lifetimes, became surgeons or something. They had experience as an entity, as a soul, and then they came into a new body, a new form, and they've had maybe many lifetimes where they've worked out karma, whatever. And then now there's somebody that, saves your ass when you get shot. Or is in the military and is a good person. You understand? So don't get all twisted about it. I have no doubt in my mind, ever since I walked towards my death, that I kill people in past lives. I don't know what the angle from. Was I a soldier or I don't know. No, I've killed people. And I know other people have killed people. It's just how it is. And I'm going to tell you my Bloodlust story. I know it's kind of getting everywhere. I apologize. And I was kind of a deep topic. Again, apologize. But, yeah, so I was in a dope house. Low vibrational drugs, as in the book of, by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, he mentions the 10 stimuli of the mind, things that stimulate a mind. And on the bottom is fear, and at the very bottom is drugs and alcohol. So like I said, I was in a low vibrational energy because I was doing drugs, hard drugs, and I was in this meth house. And this is going to get a little spiritual. When I walked towards my death on that mountain, I sacrificed my life. That's what I was willing to do. But there was a point where I was told spiritually to put my hands above my head. And that's when this wolf and dog came out trying to rip my nuts off. Big story. They were sitting here jumping around me. There was a fucking circle. A circle around me made out of the building and the shed. It was a perfect circle in rocks. And it was designed without the people knowing that they did it. So the universe took me to a geographical location with magical rituals already set in place, and all I had to do is follow my higher self, my path to feelings, and I made it there in a protective circle as dark forces were kind of trying to stop the ritual, and I'm unaware of all of it. Anyway, so I sacrificed my hands above my head. I knew in my heart that I would never have hands again. Now, I just realized I was going to walk towards my death, so, it kind of seemed backwards. How is it I'm walking towards my death, and now I don't have hands anymore. Ain't I going to die at the end of all this anyway? But I'm not thinking like that because the emotions are so intense. I'm surrounded by love. I'm crying. It's such a beautiful day, a beautiful night. It's so awesome. It's the most beautiful feeling. But my hands are freezing in the cold, and it's painful. They're on fire. And like I said, I knew I wouldn't have my hands ever again. So interestingly enough, people will tell you live in an archonic-based reality, and that at the core of what we are is dark. There's a darkness. You're in this world, not of it. But this, in people, there's a darkness, and it's there automatically. And until you raise your vibe and claim it, this is what's driving your actions. And when you have your spiritual awakening and so on and so forth, your higher self, who's more now in tuned in the video game, aka you're more here. You're actually playing the game, not an autopilot anymore. You're not an NPC anymore. You take over. But that shadow self is here. And some of us have had the privilege of seeing it. It's crazy. Anyway, I was in that dope house, and I got spiritually attacked, I guess you could say, archons or whatever. It's a deep topic. But there was a triangulation that happened with me. And the darkness that we are kind of made up of, not to get you all weird about it, took over. And I remember I was sitting near this mirror and I had Bloodlust hit me. And it was out of nowhere. There's nobody else in the house. I wasn't thinking about hurting anybody or anything. I just got like, it was almost like dark force. I'm just trying to picture it in a way that's imaginable for you. It's almost like those that you cannot see were looking down at me and were like, and I was like, it like came out. It like came out. And I remember my hands, I couldn't move them. They were the only part of my body that I couldn't move. And I told you, I sacrificed my hands. So I remember I turned into this, I did. Like I was looking in the mirror, immediately all the color drained from my face. I turned into this fucking creature. And I had my hands fucking twitching like this. And I just couldn't think about anything but killing and blood. And it was like actually thirsty. And I say this because I was watching that video of that teenager who killed the guy, and he was all like, he was, when he was talking to the police, it was the only moment he was like excited. And I was like, I know that look. I was like, I know that look. Yeah. Thanks. If you're cringed out by this video, it's okay. I'm just talking about something nobody else will talk about. And I don't go around thinking dark thoughts because I know how to control my mind and my emotions. And I love my life. And I open doors for people. I help out people. I'd jump in front of a car for a random person. I know because I've risked my life for not even a random person, but a fucking evil person. Now, I don't like helping evil people. Fuck evil people. They can die and learn their lessons in next lives. You know what I'm saying? Don't. They're not worried about killing your ass. Don't be worried about them dying. Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I had an experience of bloodlust. Might cut out in a minute. I had an experience of bloodlust. It was very interesting because later on, it's very cool that I had it because I got to learn something. It was an experience. I'm happy nobody was around, and I'm happy my hands couldn't move because of that experience I had on the mountain. I sacrificed the ego dark side. You know, the ego protects the body. A lot of people, you know, don't know that, but the ego protects the self. I was willing to sacrifice myself. And at the end of it all, at the very height of the ritual, you could say, without me knowing I was in one, I was willing to sacrifice my hands. And I have stories about a person being possessed by a demon, and I slapped him with my hand, and they go, "Don't touch me," and they were gone. You know, so this might be a big topic for a lot of people, but anyway, I did have that experience with bloodlust, and I wanted to talk about it because, you know, there is that side. Like I said, you don't even know about it. And by the way, I met a famous person, and I don't want to keep mentioning him because if I get famous, I don't want him to fucking hate me. And if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I'll mention you one more time. When I met Kevin Taylor Jones in Florida, multimillionaire worth about $10 million, he's a writer, he told me he used to be in fraud. He used to do and he admitted all this in a book, so I'm not ratting him out. It all happened so many years ago, he can't get in trouble for it. And it's word of mouth, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, he did fraud and all these other things, and he has a story about one day sitting there and all the demons came out of his body, and he said it was painful. He was sitting there, it just fuck, and it came out. So it was really interesting to meet somebody else who had that experience. For me, it was the bloodlust. But his way of describing it wasn't necessarily bloodlust, but it was these archonic, imprinted in the very core of what is the matrix we live in. That's part of you. Anyway, I guess I'm going to end this. This is going to end in any second. If you're watching this and you're like, holy shit, I'm unsubscribing, you know, whatever. This wasn't just for anybody. This video is for people that are thinking about killing people, and, you know, I'm just going to say I've dabbled in that energy. You can get out of it, especially if you haven't done it yet. Don't sell your soul yet, all right? Selling your soul is basically you doing one of those deeds, and it's so hard after you do one of those deeds to come back from. Nobody else is going to appreciate you, care about you, you know. Source loves you, and people have such a hard time believing that Source would love rapists and murderers. And like I said, you've lived so many lives. You've lived so many lives. You're all damned if you see what I'm saying. You're living in the shadow realm. There's a lot going on here behind the scenes, and it's a big topic. I'm gonna end this. I love you guys. It's a big topic, I know. I'm gonna have to rewatch this and be like, am I posting this? I might make a part 2. I think I'm gonna make a part 2 later. But yeah. If you haven't done anything yet, go watch some Abraham Hicks videos if you're one of these people I'm mentioning. Try to get your thoughts in positive. There's so much you can do in this world. It's beautiful. I love you.